Thank you very much. Hello everybody, welcome again, all of you who are watching the live stream. We tried moving the speaker, so hopefully, Reverend Linda, we've got rid of that echo. I'm not sure if we did, but we did our best for now. And welcome everybody on ACIM Gather, and welcome everybody who might be watching a YouTube video of this talk that will be prepared lovingly by our Reverend Kelly. She does such a great job creating our YouTube videos. So it is getting closer to Christmas. Here it is, December 16th, 2018, 9 days to Christmas. And I'm getting in the mood and getting in the spirit, making a real effort to do that, because sometimes it takes a little bit of an effort. But it's such a big thing, Christmas. There's so much energy around it. It's easy just to get in the flow of that and let it just create a miracle for you. And this week, a miracle that happened was that we got our December issue of Miracles Monthly out. So it was terrific. I didn't know if we were going to be able to get it out in time because we have a brand new computer system at the office, and there's been a lot of tech challenges with the new computer system, getting it set up and optimized and all ready to run all the software that I need to run in order to produce Miracles Monthly. And actually, I was putting it off, but then Reverend Thea said something, and I just got the guidance that, no, it's okay, we just go ahead and put it together, and it would work. And it did. And I want to thank David and Reverend Thea, who came at the last minute on Friday to help put the Miracles Monthly together, and it is in the mail. And it was in the mail on December 14th, which means it was in the mail in the first half of the month. It's been a long time since Miracles Monthly actually got out in the first half of the month, and I think that's terrific. And another interesting thing about it is that it actually has a Christmas article on it. And we used to be so far behind with our Miracles Monthlies that it didn't make any sense putting a Christmas article in it, because the December issue wouldn't get to anybody until January, or maybe even February on some occasions. So through the great help Reverend Kelly and everybody else, we are now back on track, and people will actually get this Christmas article, Christmas issue, Miracles Monthly. It has a transcription of the article that was the talk that I gave last year on Christmas Eve Day, on the Sunday of Christmas Eve Day. So be looking for it in the mail. It went out on Friday. So that was great. And as I said, it was just a miracle that it got out there. It is our 382nd issue in 382 months, the first issue being March of 1987, gone out every year. Okay, so the title of my talk today, Every Day Can Be Like Christmas. Every day can be like Christmas, and this is in response to an old Elvis Presley song that I'm sure we all know because it's on the playlist of every Christmas collection of classic Christmas songs that there is. And this is an album cover, one of the album covers. It was actually released several times. This is one of the album covers from Elvis in the 1966 release. And the actual title of the song is Every Day, If Every Day Was Like Christmas. But the classic line from that song, which everybody remembers, is, why can't every day be like Christmas? And he says, and I won't try to sing like Elvis, why can't every day be like Christmas? Why can't that feeling go on endlessly? For if every day could be just like Christmas, what a wonderful world this would be. Wonderful sentiment there from Mr. Presley, the king of rock and roll, as they say. Just saying, you know, every day, why can't every day be like Christmas? Maybe it was a rhetorical question. Maybe it was, of course every day could be like Christmas if we just chose that it be that way, that it's all a matter of choice. And I think even in that 1966 song by Elvis Presley, that was hinted at. I mean, it was a question that was begging an answer, but the obvious answer was, yeah, I guess every day could be like Christmas if we chose it to be that way. So I want to acknowledge that Christmas, for a lot of people, has positive associations, but it also has certain negative associations for people. Maybe for all of us, in some way, shape, or form, we have some negative associations around Christmas. And I was thinking about those. And you know, one of the first things I can remember is that when I was about 6 or 7, I remember that we used to go to school after Christmas break, so I'm in like 1st, 2nd grade, something like that. And the teacher would call upon everybody, kind of like in the show and tell, and ask everybody what Santa Claus had brought them for Christmas. This was considered politically correct at that time. And there were kids in the class that came from wealthier families, or at least families that had the mindset of giving their kids a lot of gifts for Christmas. Maybe they weren't all that wealthy. Maybe they went into debt to do it. I don't know. But anyway, these other students of mine would get up and just talk about all the amazing things they had gotten for Christmas, that Santa had brought them for Christmas. And my family was not of that ilk. For one, I don't think we had the money. We weren't poor, though. But a little bit had to do with just the mindset. It was not the mindset of my parents to give their kids all these gifts. We got a few little things. And then I remember just feeling like, well, how come Santa didn't give me all those gifts? You know, how come, Marty got all those amazing gifts and racetracks and huge girder and panel sets and all the things that Marty always got and Steve got, and so then I remember when it got my turn, I would embellish. I'd lie about what I had gotten and embellish it because I would feel less than, and somehow I didn't get. And I just remember just having that experience and feeling it was just a little bit weird. I also remember, I think I was about 9 or 10 at this time, and this was one of the times when my father had one of his first, probably the first big nervous breakdown that he had, and he was away at the mental hospital for Christmas. My dad wasn't there. So my aunt and uncle, one of my aunts and uncles came over with their kids, and we had Christmas with them. And it was really sweet that my mother arranged that. My aunt and uncle came over, but all throughout, I'm missing my dad. And I know my dad's in the hospital, and in those days, the stigma of mental illness, you couldn't even really talk about it. You couldn't say dad's in the hospital because he's having psychological problems. It was, you just never mentioned it, but everybody kind of knew. It was the elephant in the room that everybody knew about. Dad's not here for Christmas. Can't talk about it because he's in the hospital. He's in the mental hospital. So I remember that. I also remember that I've had several significant, intimate relationships break up around Christmas time. I don't know why that is. I think I remember one time in particular, going through a rough time with a lady friend, and the relationship was kind of over, but the seal of the deal was after I came back from the Community Miracle Center Sunday Christmas gathering, there was a letter taped to my door, to the window of my door, with 2 big pieces of masking tape. And it was a Christmas card. And the Christmas card itself was a purchase card. It had a nice Christmas message, but in it was this whole written letter about how I was a schmuck and the relationship was over. To which I thought, well, Merry Christmas to you too. I had that experience. Even this year, last Wednesday, just a couple of days ago, I ended a 5-year relationship with a male intimate of mine because he's let me know that he just didn't want to see me anymore. So he was just going to let that be that without even talking about it, and I at least challenged him, like, a 5-year relationship needs a respectful ending, which is what I told him. 5-year relationship needs a respectful ending. So he said, you are right. And so we got together for an hour, and it was actually really good. We just said some nice things about the relationship, and I'm really glad he gave me that little bit of completion. But okay, again, a relationship ends around the Christmas holiday. I had my own, really, like first severe, real mental nervous breakdown on a Christmas holiday in 1980. I remember just like being in the worst possible state I'd ever been in my life, nervous, anxious, unable to sleep, crying all the time, thinking that I was going crazy, that my mind would never kick back into normal gear, that somehow this was just it, and that I didn't know if I could live, if I wanted to live, feeling like with this incapacity, just this inability to think. I mean, anxiety does that. It makes you confused and unable to focus. Very hard. So, that's my litany of ghosts of Christmas past. But many of us have had experiences like that, and a lot of people have reasons not to like the Christmas holiday, not to associate good things with it. But, like the reading that Reverend Steve said, it said, "Let no despair darken the joy of Christmas. For the time of Christ is meaningless apart from joy." So, let no despair darken the joy that this season actually can have, and that is going to be a choice. And if we're going to make every day like Christmas, then we're going to have to make that choice. We're just going to have to make that choice. And I'm challenging everybody. We got 9 days. 9 days. Okay, for the next 9 days, can we just choose not to have a rap or a discussion with ourselves and with others about how things aren't good in whatever, what's wrong with it? A 9-day fast about talking about what's wrong with your life. It's 9 days. And just talk about good stuff. It's Christmas. Let no despair darken the joy of Christmas. That's what Jesus, through A Course in Miracles, is asking us to do. So it's Christmas. So let's do it. Let's just have a joyful Christmas. Let's choose it. And if we can choose it for these 9 days and get it in our memory, it will make it easier for us to choose it all throughout the year, and then every day can be just like Christmas, because it's a choice. It's a choice to do that. Okay, so what if we're stuck in something that's really negative? Well, A Course in Miracles says, this Christmas, give the Holy Spirit everything that would hurt you. Let yourself be healed completely, that you may join with Him in healing. And let us celebrate our release together by releasing everyone with us. So, we got something going on that feels negative. The thing to do with it is to offer it up to the Holy Spirit. Offer it up to the Holy Spirit. Ask for guidance. Ask for guidance on a new way to conceptualize it. Ask for guidance for a new way to think about it. And then choose what the Holy Spirit gives you. Don't tell the Holy Spirit what that's going to be. Ask for help, offer it up, and then choose what the Holy Spirit is going to give you. And I did that this last week with this relationship that ended. It's just like, okay, this could feel not nice if I choose that, but I'm going to offer it up and ask for a new perception. And what I really got is it's just lightening my life up. It's making something available to come into my life that wasn't available to come into it before. And the truth is, the relationship ran its course. It was great, and now it's changing form, and that's okay. And that it needed to change form because it's going to allow the space for something new to come into my life, and that was a good thing. And that I could really just celebrate the relationship for the 5 years that it was, and celebrate and have anticipation for all this new stuff that's going to be coming into my life. And that's what I'm choosing to focus in on. That's me choosing the joy of Christmas. That's me not letting any despair darken that joy. And when we do that, when we give everything to the Holy Spirit, we choose that perception, then we are healed, and then we can share that healing. And we can release all of our brothers and sisters with us by sharing that healing. That's what we do on the healing team with that list. And just think of how grateful I am for all of those people that have asked us for help. It gives me all of those amazing opportunities to heal myself. I'm really grateful. And that's what Christmas is about. Let us celebrate our release together by releasing everyone with us. We get to release all those people on the list and all those situations up to the light, up to Holy Spirit's care. And we claim that release, and we give that release to them. In another quote, in that reading that Reverend Steve read, says, "The sign of Christmas is a star light in darkness. See it not outside yourself, but shining in the heaven within, and accept it as the time of Christ has come. So the sign of Christmas, the symbol of Christmas, is a star. It's a light in the darkness. So yeah, those negative things may be the darkness, but look for the light. There's a star there somewhere. There's a blessing there somewhere. There's a representation of the eternal, infinite light there somewhere. Look for it. That's the meaning of Christmas, that we do that all the time with everything. We don't hook into the despair. We find the light. And I know for me, on Christmas Day, I will be right here with all of you and maybe some other people too, celebrating Christmas. For 31 years we've had, or 32 years, we've had a Christmas celebration on Christmas Day, and I can't think of anywhere that I would like to be better than that, with all of you and my local family and friends having a wonderful Christmas celebration, a wonderful Community Voices service, and then a wonderful food potluck celebration afterwards. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll be our first Christmas in this new space that we like so much, that we love so much. It's got such a good energy about it. And I'll be here with all my A Course in Miracles friends and my A Course in Miracles family. And we'll just be in joy and love together. And we will be celebrating. Another quotation, this is earlier in the text, it says, "In this season, Christmas, which celebrates the birth of holiness into this world, join with me who decided for holiness for you. It is our task together to restore the magnitude to the host whom God appointed as himself." So what I really like about this is, apparently this is Jesus talking to us, and he says, in this season, which celebrates the birth of holiness into this world. He doesn't say it celebrates my birth into this world. And people generally think Jesus is the reason for the season, so we're celebrating Jesus' birth. But in this quotation, Jesus is saying, no, we're not really celebrating his birth. We're celebrating the birth of holiness into the world. And that holiness is birth into all of us. So Christmas, the birthday that we're really celebrating, is ours. It's our rebirth day. It's our day to rebirth ourselves as the Holy Christ solidly in our mind. The word Christmas itself is just two words put together. It's Christ and it's Mass. So it's Christ Mass, Christmas. And remember, we're A Course in Miracles students, so we don't associate Christ with Jesus necessarily. Jesus became the Christ. We're all becoming, or we all have become the Christ. Everyone is the Christ at their core. It's just ego stuff has to get stripped away. We're all the Christ. And this Christmas is the celebration. Mass means celebration, usually spiritual celebration of some kind. So this Christmas is the celebration of the birth of the Christ, the rebirth of the Christ, holiness within ourselves. And it never was about Jesus' birthday, really, anyway. It never was Jesus' birthday. Even in ancient times, they know Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. Sometimes people, talk about how the Jewish people took Hanukkah, took this minor holiday, and made it into a major holiday to kind of, be able to blend with all their Christian friends, basically to give their kids something to celebrate while all their so-called Christian friends were celebrating Christmas. And somehow, sometimes people use that to talk about how, Jewish people are just trying to, preempt the Christian holiday in some way. But, of course, the interesting thing is that's exactly what Christians did in the 2nd and 3rd century, because there was no holiday that Christians were supposed to be celebrating. It was a celebration of Mithras. Mithras was the sun god. The sun god was, and Mithraism was very popular in ancient Rome at that time. In the 2nd and 3rd century, the celebration of the sun god, I think it was a Persian god actually, Mithras, and that was the very prevalent religion. It was not only the very prevalent religion, it was the accepted religion of the state at that time. So the Roman country, the Roman kingdom, the state embraced Mithraism, Mithras was the sun god, And there were these big sun god celebrations. And remember, this was also a time when Christians sometimes were oppressed and persecuted and even put to death. So if you were a Christian, you probably didn't want to stand out too much and not have something to celebrate around this time of year. And so they found something. They knew Jesus wasn't really born this time. Let's just celebrate the birth of Jesus, because we haven't been celebrating that. And the early Christians didn't think it was something that should be celebrated. There's actually certain Christian sects right now that don't celebrate Christmas because they don't believe we should be celebrating the birth into flesh of God's most holy child. But those Christians back in the 2nd and 3rd century just took it on and turned the Mithrian celebration to the sun god into a celebration that they could participate with too, so that they could be just like everybody else. They didn't want to stand out and be different. There were probably really good reasons why they didn't want to stand out and be different. One of the reasons the sun god was being celebrated then, think about it, it's seasonal. Right around December 25th, that's when the days actually start getting longer. So in the northern hemisphere, you've reached the first day, you reach the winter day, like on December 21st to 22nd. There's sort of like this, the curve kind of stabilizes, and then it starts to climb. The daylight starts to increase, and probably in ancient times, the first day they could really detect that daylight was increasing was December 25th. So the sun god is returning! So we'll celebrate the sun god returning, and that's how it all got started. In this situation, the African American holiday of Kwanzaa is probably the most authentic holiday for this time of year that there is, because they're celebrating a harvest festival that was actually appropriate thing to probably celebrate. The harvest was all in, the growing season was officially done, and so let's just celebrate the harvest as the sun returns to prominence. So even the African Americans and people say, well, they just created this holiday so that they could have something to celebrate that was culturally relevant to them. And I gotta say, they probably created the most authentic reason to actually be celebrated at this time of year, because Jesus wasn't born this time of year. And actually Hanukkah wasn't considered a big major holiday for the Jewish people either. So all this stuff is a jumble. It doesn't really matter. We celebrate because light is returning into our realm, and the days are getting longer. But let's also not forget our friends in the southern hemisphere. The days are really long there right now. In Australia, it's the middle of summer. I always think it's kind of amusing to just to think about, because we so associate Christmas with short days, and my Australian friends associate it with summer. Really interesting. Anyway, it is our rebirth day. It is the day to celebrate our own return to light. And we need to dedicate ourselves to let no darkness change that or challenge that. And if we can practice that around this season, we will have built a good Christ mass muscle strength to be able to do it all throughout the year, and thus have every day like Christmas. One last quote from A Course in Miracles. This one doesn't mention the word Christmas, but it was channeled by Helen right around the Christmas holiday. And it's lesson 303, the Holy Christ is born in me today. And it says, watch with me, angels, watch with me today. Let all God's holy thoughts surround me, and be still with me while heaven's Son is born. And that means heaven's Son is born within us. The Christ is reborn within us. We remember that the Christ is who and what we truly are, and we make a dedication, and I'm making a dedication, that every day can be like Christmas, but I have to celebrate that, and I have to celebrate that by always looking for the light. And the light is returning to the sky. And all the energy of the holiday, the positive, good energy of the holiday is there to help us. So celebrate this season, make a dedication for the next 9 days to let no despair darken your joy, And if you're around here and local CMC people, please come and join me and everybody else on Christmas Day. It's going to be a hoot. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.